Hello, and welcome to House and Home Chat Real Estate Real Talk with Dina and Chris. I'm Chris Breitenbach.
And I'm Dina Mathis, and we've just experienced this hot seller's market, haven't we, Chris?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, we're just about everything is selling in multiple offers, but there are many reasons why a well-cleaned home is a good idea in any market. And today we'll be sharing those top must-do tips for selling a clean home.
And if you don't intend to sell in the short term, we encourage you to keep listening because we're discussing how you can apply these tips to keep a well-cleaned home life day in and day out.
Day in and day out. We all need that, right? And
Absolutely.
today we're chatting with Dina Dean, who's owner of Clean with Miss Dean. Dina is a business owner. She's a blogger. She's an influencer. She's my personal friend. Yay. So we're going to be talking with Dina about keeping it clean with tips from Miss Dean. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the program, Dina. So for our listeners that don't know you, why don't you just start off by telling them a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm Dina Dean, otherwise known as Clean with Miss Dean.
I love it.
I've been running a cleaning business for the past 15 years
Wow.
while raising 6 kids and
I was going to say,
fur babies.
wait for it.
Wow,
Six kids. Absolutely.
So I've been doing that for the past 15 years. And lately, I've just recently started a new side gig. As a blogger
Yeah.
and influencer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like, the past 15 years of running a cleaning business, I've learned, what tips and tricks and products are great. And I found so many people come to me asking, what's the best product to use for
Right.
this certain area? And so I've taken it upon myself to have this little,
Yes.
side business where, I want to start moving myself toward that
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sharing all those valuable tips, obviously all that insight that you've learned and, gathered over the last 15 years is really advantageous to all of us, right?
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. Right. Do our
Yeah.
thinking for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We're just looking for the
We
resources.
just want
I
to
want
know.
people to think for me.
We just want to know. So as this mom of 6, I don't even know where you find the time. so how does that happen, right?
Well, it is very difficult, and I will say, I'm the type of person, I don't like chaos in my life. I don't
Mhm.
think people do. And having a lot of kids and running a business and trying to keep your house clean, it's the last thing you want to do when you get home. You have all the stress and you come home and, the key is keeping up with the cleaning.
Mhm.
And myself having 6 kids or whatever else you have going on at home, make sure you find the time to do it. And, most kids can help.
Time, right?
Time.
Who has it? Who
I
has
am
more
thinking
of
there's a
it?
benefit of 6 kids because if each person does one thing,
Yes.
yes, that's better than one person doing it all.
And they
I don't know about that.
and they can help.
I've got one, and I can't even get that one. But hey, okay. If you think you're going to get them all to help
They
you
just have to
clean,
do one thing.
just have to do one thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So where does somebody begin then? I mean, how do you start, and where do you start with, preparing your home, and people are just kind of at a loss?
I like to go by 3 rules. The first being declutter your home,
Okay.
deep clean,
Okay.
and maintain.
Okay.
And so do these 3 kind of rules that you have, I guess, do they apply to somebody who's just looking for cleaning for their own personal, cleanliness or their own personal lifestyle, or do they apply for somebody who's looking to move? Do you kind of apply those to both?
I think both.
Yeah.
You never want to wait.
Mhm.
We don't know what, when the time is going to come. You might not think you want to sell
Mhm.
your home, but then
Yeah.
all of a sudden next week it's like, hey,
Yeah.
let's move.
Opportunity
Yeah.
arises.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So keeping up with that all the time rather than waiting for that moment. It's
Mhm.
just overwhelming and stressful if
Yeah.
you wait until the last minute, and that's with anything.
Right, right.
And-
It's so true.
Exactly. And when we're meeting with clients, that's the first thing that we, we're looking at is really the whole declutter, right? Because the more clutter you have, the smaller the home looks.
Right.
And so that's the first thing that we always tell our clients to do also is to declutter the home and really kind of, take away at least like 50% of what's here,
So
pack it up.
let's start there.
Yeah.
If you're going to declutter, because I look at, right, okay, I've personally been in my house 20 years. Where do I start?
I like to start one room at a time.
Okay.
You don't want to get
That makes
overwhelmed.
sense,
So
right?
start with one room. Don't look at the whole house like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, what am I going to do?
That's a good point because people don't know where to start and then they go like, they'll do one thing in the living room and one thing in the bedroom, one thing in the kitchen. It doesn't seem like, it doesn't feel like anything is done.
Right.
You haven't finished what you're, so
Yeah.
set a goal. And
Yeah.
I like to go by, have a number in your mind.
Okay.
Let's say 12, 12, and 12. Take 12 items out of each room that you're going to donate,
Okay.
12 items that you're going to throw out,
Okay.
and 12 items that you're going to put in their place where they belong. Each room kind of collects these things that it's like, wow, how this ended
Yeah.
up here.
And
So if you
why do I
a
have this?
number- a
Yeah.
number in mind, another rule that I like to go by, it's the 90-90 rule.
Okay,
If
what's that?
you have not used
90 items.
90 items in your bedroom that you
No.
need to get rid of. No,
Not
no,
items.
no. Okay. All right.
If you have not used something in 90 days and
Okay.
you don't plan on
Oh.
using it 90 more days,
Oh, okay.
it's time to get rid of it.
That's smart. That's smart.
That is a good rule of thumb.
Right.
And another
Okay,
tip,
another tip.
do not use your home as a storage unit.
Oh, that's interesting. But you know what? It's so valid. It's so valid.
And it happens very easily. I know
Mhm.
we've had this
Mhm.
conversation before, right, where I was just starting to purge and my in-laws moved to a senior living community. So they downsized a home. Guess what? I took in boxes. I mostly photographs. My parents downsized from a condo to an assisted living community. Guess what? I took
Perfect
in
example. She's using her
things.
home for
as-
storage.
So I am using my home, and I'm
Yes.
really down to just china, which I personally am keeping, and then 2 boxes of photographs that I keep trying to get out the door.
Well,
Oh,
those are,
But
that's a great example of not
Or
using,
the children,
of
my
using
adult
your home.
children, I
Yeah.
still have their things
Oh,
because they're in the process of getting settled.
time
So
for
I have
mom
one
to
room
stop
that's-
storing.
Yeah.
I'm storing. So I get it. Thank you. Done. Everybody done.
Well, you get it. It's a matter of doing it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So stop doing it.
So that
Um,
makes so much sense.
That's a great, and those are really great tips. I like the 12, 12, 12, or I
Love
guess
the
you
12,
could
12,
use
12.
any number, right?
Any number, but I think you want to have a goal.
Yeah.
Because if you walk into a room and it's
That's
like, oh, here's
important.
one thing I'm going to donate, kind of have a number in
Okay.
mind that kind of helps you to.
And the 90 days is a good one too. Not 90
Yeah.
items, right? But 90 days. I think that's so valid because you're right. If I haven't used it in 3 months, I'm not planning on using it,
the
seasonally
next-
or whatever, then it should be gone.
Or even think, right, depending on where you're starting. So if you're starting in the kitchen, spices. If you haven't used a spice in 90 days, really, that should be gone. Or,
Yeah.
there's, I don't know, we have bottles and cans of things in the garage that
Mhm.
I don't know if we've used them or not, or how old they are.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
This reminds me of our conversation with Tracy Carter when we
yes.
interviewed her with Closets by Design.
Oh, yeah.
And so she comes in and really helps with that. Not the organization that, we're discussing, but she'll help you come up with a system of
Right.
closet design
Sure.
to help with the, with the clutter.
We did
Important.
spend a lot of
Yeah.
time on
Yeah.
the whole decluttering and
Yeah.
how to purge things. I think it was season 2, episode 8. So check it out. Get the refresher to get more of a deep insight into that decluttering and organization.
So it doesn't really matter, I guess, is what you're saying, where people start. You're just saying pick a place to start.
Pick a place, and when you're putting your home on the market, you want to make sure you hit all of those places.
Mhm.
You know, people want to throw things in the garage.
Mhm.
You want to look at the size of the garage when you're buying a home, and you
Correct.
don't want.
Yeah.
It appears to be bigger when there isn't
Yeah.
anything in it.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
the bottom line. We're
And can they
selling
fit the
square
car?
footage, right? We're
Right.
selling square footage. Can you fit your
Can
car
you
in
fit
the
your car?
garage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've got it packed full of everything that you decluttered from your home and you put it in your garage, then
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense either, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And and I think the other thing, as far as with real estate, your closets. You can
Yeah.
remove a lot of things out of your closet to get that space and
Yeah.
want those large closets. So making sure it's organized and not so cluttered.
Mhm.
As far as like organization for closets, it's just simple plastic bins that are labeled that you
Right.
can put,
Yeah.
on a shelf.
Yeah.
Like,
They look good.
yeah.
They don't
right.
it doesn't look like the closet is too small,
Mhm.
because if the
Everything
closet's too
has a
small,
home, right?
it's, yeah,
If
Exactly.
everything has a home, then it works.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So moving us on to number 2, what was the second?
Deep clean.
Deep clean. Okay.
Deep clean.
So what does that mean? What does that mean to you? What should that mean to
Because
everybody,
it's
right?
definitely a different
Yeah.
interpretation
Yes.
for each person.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agree.
Exactly.
For me, a deep clean, especially when you're getting your home ready to put it on the market, you want to hit all those areas. I think everyone is kind of used to your regular clean, where you're cleaning your bathrooms and your kitchen and your dusting.
Yeah.
But the deep clean is, making sure the baseboards are clean.
Oh, that's-
We talk about
This
that all the
is-
time.
This is one of my
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Baseboards and the air vents.
Yes, air vents, especially in the bathrooms.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone can look up at their bathroom vent right now.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of dust in
It's
it.
gross. If
Yeah.
you
And that's
haven't
the
kept
paper
up with
product
it.
in your
Yeah.
bathroom, the toilet paper, all the dust
Yeah.
that comes off the paper.
Good
But-
point.
But in blinds,
Mhm.
many blinds, open your windows, clean out your windowsill. When people are looking for home, they want to, maybe open the window to make
Right.
sure, some of these older homes too, to make sure the windows
windows
work well.
Right.
If the windowsill is full of, bugs and dust and
Yeah. You're like, wow, these windows haven't been opened in years.
Or have they ever cleaned their
Or have they
home?
ever
Mhm.
cleaned their home?
Mhm.
That's another good
Yeah.
point, because then that makes the home appear not well kept.
Well, and that's
overall, right?
exactly what I was thinking, right? If there's something like that that's been missed,
Mhm.
what else has been
Mhm.
missed? Has the
Yes.
furnace been missed?
yes.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna question.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And then that affects the overall offer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So clean windows, and that's the one thing, we always talk to, light and bright, open
Right.
blinds, or a lot of times we remove curtains, so the windows are exposed. So having those windows be clean is a great point. We need to be able to see out of them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And those are things that buyers pick up on.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you have a checklist that you use for the deep cleaning? And so when you're, you and your crew are cleaning a home, it's different if somebody were to, want a deep cleaning versus just a regular cleaning? What kind of?
Yes. And, our checklist is always floor or ceiling to floor. So
Okay.
you start with the ceiling,
Mhm.
ceiling fans, light fixtures.
Which is interesting, because those are the things that people tend to neglect.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So you start with the ceilings.
And work
Ceilings down.
work down,
Mhm.
because any dust that you're getting off the ceiling, or, as you work your way down, the walls, the furniture, then the floors are always last, because everything's, ended up
Good
there.
point.
Yeah.
That's smart. It's all trickling and falling.
Nothing worse than vacuuming and then cleaning the
cleaning the
ceiling.
ceiling.
Yeah,
It all
I know.
comes down
You're
to you.
absolutely right. You're
But
absolutely
those are
right.
so important.
Yeah.
And for that, person selling their home, the
Yeah.
ceiling fan and the light fixtures. I mean, people take in every little detail, and your light fixtures are, cluttered with dust, or
Yeah.
um,
Are there any products like, for obviously those key areas, the kitchen, the bathroom are always, that's what every buyer goes to first. Those are the areas, most of the time, your master suite and your kitchen that people really spend time in and focus on. Do you have any tips for clean showers or bathrooms or kitchens?
As far as bathrooms and tile, I really like soft scrub. Now you can
Okay.
get it with bleach or non-bleach. I like the bleach
I was gonna
for.
say you need some bleach
Yes,
sometimes, right? For
yes,
those
you do. You
moldy
do.
bathrooms.
And some products that have bleach, like the Clorox bleach, things like that, it's very bleachy smell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's overwhelming. So at times, when you're doing this right before showing, it's like, oh, what is that bleach smell? Some people don't like that.
Oh, I love that.
Right? So the
I
soft
agree. That's not the
scrub-
smell that you want to be the first smell that,
No,
when you walk in the door. So
No.
soft scrub
So
is
soft
what you would
scrub
do.
is
Soft scrub.
it's a great, it has bleach, but it's not an overwhelming bleach.
Mhm.
And they also have it that is without the bleach, it's just kind of a citrus scent. I really like that product for tile, in the bathrooms,
Okay.
the showers, the tubs. And for kitchens, I like the good old Windex all surface cleaner.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's not harsh, so depending on the countertops, whatever the if it's Corian, if it's
It works on all
marble, if
surfaces
it's yes,
without harming the surface
exactly,
tile.
and it doesn't streak. It's gentle enough. You can use it on the other big thing,
Mhm.
the cabinet fronts.
Mhm.
Make sure your
Mhm.
cabinets are clean and
Yeah.
food and fingerprints and things like that.
So that would be a good product. Obviously, you get your deep clean, but then, that would be a product for a seller to use, I guess, ongoing when they had to,
Yeah.
make quick jump.
I let people quick.
Yeah.
Quick out the door.
Yeah. So what is
Wipe
it? The Windex,
Windex
all surface.
all surface cleaner.
Okay.
It's a yellow.
Okay.
It's yellow.
Okay.
The Windex that I think everyone knows is blue.
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 Okay, so this one is
Blue.
yellow.
Yellow.
I don't think I use
No,
the
I haven't.
And
all
it's
surface
great
cleaner.
as far as especially I feel like at times we go through and it's kind of coming back the black, the
Mhm,
black
mhm.
countertops,
Yeah.
the black. It is the absolute best to not show streaks.
Ooh, you've
Everybody
heard that.
Wow.
You've heard that here, everybody. Well, I've got, out back, I've got an outdoor
Mhm.
area, and those counters get way dirtier than inside because of all the elements.
They're
and the-
outdoors.
Yeah, they're out. That's why.
There's dirt.
So I'm gonna have to pick some of that up because, it's nice to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's just as easy, in my opinion, to spray and wipe as pulling a little wipe out and
Mhm.
wiping down,
Mhm.
especially if it works better.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not like we're talking about doing something hard.
Sometimes those leave streaky marks too.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and it's the product
Yeah.
that's and the other thing, rather than paper towels,
Mhm.
use a microfiber cloth. The
Mm,
towels
okay.
will leave the lint.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And even with mirrors,
Okay.
microfiber cloth is key to.
Yeah, that's a great idea because you find yourself like going over it and
Mhm,
over it and over it because
And
they've got that
windows,
little-
right, cleaning
Mhm.
windows,
Mhm.
not using a microfiber cloth.
Absolutely
always
not,
leaves
yeah.
Little white speckles.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing with windows,
Yeah.
newspaper.
Oh,
It's
you know what?
crazy.
My mom used to do that.
I
a
was
long
gonna
time
say, I
ago.
think I've heard that somewhere, but I have never used it before. So
Yeah.
you've used it, you've
Yes,
done it. That's how
yes.
you clean your windows.
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
So save your Pulse journal. If you get the Inquirer, save the Inquirer. I get the Pulse journal because they just deliver it
Okay.
to clean your windows.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try that.
Yeah, a little bit of vinegar and
Wow.
water and newspaper.
Vinegar,
you will
and
be
water,
amazed.
and
Newspaper will not streak.
Okay.
So even a microfiber cloth is great to use as opposed to paper towels, but the microfiber cloth can streak on windows at
Okay.
times, depending on how dirty they are. Because the dirtier the streakier it will be, and
Mhm.
windows do.
And I've got to clean my windows for the holidays here because I'll be entertaining for Christmas, right? You want all your window shades open and people to
Right.
see all your holiday lights out in the
And
yard.
it does seem to
so
me, for some reason, windows look dirtier in the winter.
they always
they do in the
are.
summer.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
They always are. Well, those are some great tips too. So moving on to kind of your third area, what would you say as far as, what was that, maintenance?
Maintain.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Maintenance, maintain.
So we've decluttered and organized.
deep cleaned.
We've deep cleaned. And now how do we keep that? Yeah, how do we keep up with that?
Maintain, again, I like to work one room at a time. You know, when you're maintaining, I like to say, okay, Monday is kitchen day.
Okay.
Tuesday is living area. Wednesday is hallways, you know, Thursday's bedrooms, you know, just kind of tackling a different room each day rather than trying to maintain the entire house in one day.
Yeah, who has that time, right? Where you can
Right.
clean the house from top to bottom all in one day. You know, I kind of remember growing up where Saturdays in our household was always like the house cleaning day. But then that doesn't work for me, you know,
Right,
in my
right.
family,
Right,
right? I
yeah.
mean, I'm like, okay, I might have 30 minutes this Saturday. Plus, who wants to spend the whole day,
No,
you know,
Absolutely.
doing
No.
that, right?
No.
So in order to keep yourself organized and to maintain what you've already cleaned, you're saying to pick a day of the week that you do certain tasks.
Correct. Yes. And the other thing, you know, anything with a flat surface should
Mhm.
always be clear.
Mhm.
You know, the kitchen, the coffee table, the dining room table.
Mhm, mhm.
It's a flat surface and everything ends up on it.
Yeah,
And
right.
I like to follow that rule to keep things clear.
Mhm.
So, you know, when you're going through and doing your daily task, maybe those things need to find their home.
Right,
Mhm.
like my kitchen counter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always the
Yeah.
kitchen
Yeah.
kitchen counter, but you're right, it's so easy to go to that dining room because it's kind of that out of sight, out of mind.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Easy.
Exactly. How does that look different for that maintenance thing? How does that look different for somebody who's living versus somebody who's moving, you know?
Again, I like to treat it all the same,
Mhm.
but I understand that doesn't work for everyone. And when
Mhm.
they're trying to sell their home, they want to, you know, keep really
Right.
keep up on those things.
Right. Because they might leave for work in the morning and they have a showing that, you know,
That
doesn't get
afternoon.
scheduled until they're
So they
they're
don't even
gone.
know.
So they
right?
don't
You
even
don't know when
know.
you leave the
Mhm.
house that
Yeah.
somebody's going to be
Right.
coming in.
So there are things that, you know, these things that they should do on the regulars.
Absolutely.
And then having it scheduled out, I guess.
Yes, yes. And, you know, so each day you're doing a little something. It's not taking up much time because you've, you know, already tackled the other rooms the day before or,
Right.
you know, and just the big thing is, you know, those surfaces, you know, your kitchen, gonna open your oven.
Yes,
There-
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Appliances.
And I'll
We
tell
didn't
you
talk
what,
about
Deep
that.
clean the oven.
Deep clean
Deep
the oven.
clean
The microwave
The
can get
microwave.
so
Oh,
gross.
All right, the dishwasher, because I recently had a buyer move
Ew.
in and it was the nastiest dishwasher
Ew.
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was nasty.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
inside
yucky.
appliances should fall into that deep clean.
So they should be deep
Every
cleaned,
appliance.
and then they can just be maintained.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Because then you're like, oh, we made pizza and there's a little drop.
Mhm.
I gotta wipe that pizza.
Mhm.
It's not, oh, I've gotta
Mhm.
clean the entire inside of the oven. You know,
Right.
it's the maintain
Right.
is just kind of keeping up with that. And you know, you spend most of your time in your kitchen, I feel like, most
Mhm.
families. So that's the area that I feel like
Yeah.
you spend the most time.
And I think that Windex All Surface is probably a great product for people to keep on hand, so that when you leave in the
Yes.
morning, you can just give it a squirt, squirt, squirt.
Squirt.
You're good.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What about vacuuming? You know, we often tell people a clean floor, right? You
Yes.
know, is there a particular anything that you recommend that's out
Frequency or
there? Mhm.
My favorite, because I buy one at least once a year, I try to look at something at a reasonable price range. You know, there's some phenomenal vacuums
Yeah,
out
and you
there,
can
but
spend a lot of
You
money on a
can.
vacuum,
you
thousands
can.
and
I always
thousands of
question, are
dollars.
they worth it?
Yeah.
Right. And so I have found that middle of the road vacuum, Shark upright, it's a lift away. The key is to have a number of attachments.
Okay.
Once you bring that vacuum out, that vacuum should be able to do everything. You know, as far as if you're on a hard surface, you're on an area rug, you're on a wall-to-wall carpet. That it's just one item you bring out, you use the attachment, to get the corners, or you can do the attachment for the baseboards.
Right.
After you've deep cleaned them, washing them down, you just do a little swipe with the attachment. So the shark lift away is my absolute favorite.
That's a good tip.
They have a pet attachment also.
Oh, those are important.
Yes.
For your upholstered furniture.
Mhm.
You put the attachment on, it picks up the cat hair, the dog hair, or whatever it is.
Yeah, most people have a pet, some kind of a pet, you're right. And, those pet hairs.
They have special needs.
And they have
special cleaning needs.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned that you have a blog and you're an influencer. So how do you help people?
So, with the blog, with each blog, I pick something that I feel like is helpful that I've kind of learned. And, I'm going to write a blog about here's this product that has done wonders and helped me. And then I have a link where you can purchase the items. So I'm promoting products as well.
Okay.
That's where the influencer part comes in.
Right. Some of us are really slow to like really grasping this concept. So that's why I wanted to make sure that I'm spelling it out. What do people go to you for, and where do they find you?
So they can find me on my website, which is www.cleanwithmissdean.com.
Clean with Miss Dina Dean. we were laughing about her name, which is such a a cool name, right? And it goes with the Clean with Miss Dean. But it's perfect.
It is a fun name.
It's a great marketing tool. Okay, so they can go to your website.
My website, also on social media, with Facebook, Instagram, again, Clean with Miss Dean. And, I think the website is probably the easiest, on Facebook and Instagram, I'll have different days
tips
where I'll be, tip or whatever, but I feel like it's all in one on the website. So the website's probably the best place to go. There's also a section where you can, email me, ask me a question. If there's something
like if they have a particular stain or something that somebody can't get out, then that's what you could do. You can look for that tip from Miss Dean by emailing her directly, right? Just go to her website.
My email.
It happens to me on the regular. Or, at least with clients, right? You go through someone's house, like an odor, you can't get an odor out of the house, or, you're always looking for,
or there is that stain in the carpet that you tried to get out and maybe you just stuck a table over it and you just live with it, right? You eventually just live with things.
Sure. And you
so
bring
good to
up
know they can reach out.
odors, which is a great one when you're selling your home, because like you said, most of us have animals. Animals smell. We get used to that smell. So when you come into your own home, you don't smell it.
Right.
Vacuuming. So one thing that I do, and it's a great tip for that person with their house on the market to run their vacuum, say they want to run their vacuum every day or every other day. The Arm & Hammer Pet Fresh, little powder, sprinkling it on the rug and then running your vacuum.
Okay.
And it has a good scent, but it kind of takes away that, whether it's a wet dog smell or.
Or just they smell like there's an odor, like you said, we don't smell it in our own homes, but people who aren't pet people can smell it.
Exactly. And teenage boy.
Teenage boy odor. That maybe I'll use that on Nathan's carpet. That's probably
sprinkle it on his bed.
He smells worse than any dog ever would, especially after playing sports.
But it is, right? You close the bedroom door and you open those bedroom doors and you're just like, oh, they got
where'd that smell come from?
I know who lives here.
And the other thing, essential oils, if you your filter in your furnace, pull your filter out, do 10 to 15 drops of your favorite filter or essential oil smell, and it'll come through the vents.
Lavender.
That's a great idea.
Oh my gosh.
A little bit different than having a candle.
Yes, and sometimes candles, you get that sense, are they masking a
smell? Right.
It can be overwhelming. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Wow.
So you can find all these tips, it sounds like, on your website.
Yes.
We've learned a lot about, some hacks and some tips and the rules of 12 and 90 days and lots of great things. But is there anything that we've missed? I mean, I really can't even imagine, again, how you have 6 kids and you find the time to do all of this. But is there anything that we've missed that we haven't necessarily covered
I
today?
think so. I think we could be here all day.
Yeah,
talking about
absolutely.
different
Absolutely.
products
Yeah.
and things. But
Yeah.
no, I think, it's just, you don't want this to be daunting and
Right.
stressful. And,
Yeah.
it's just keeping up with things will keep the peace. And
Keep the peace. I like
the
it.
peace.
So you heard that all here, everybody. Keep the
Dina,
peace.
you've just been delightful.
Yes.
This has
Oh,
been
thank
so
you.
wonderful.
Yes, and our small business shout out today goes to Dina Dean, owner, influencer, blogger, and she is sharing all kinds of great tips on her website. So Clean with Miss Dean.
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. It was great.
Oh, thank you.
And that was a fun conversation
Wasn't it?
with Clean with Miss Dean, wasn't
Oh my
it?
gosh, I learned so much.
I learned so much, and actually off camera we learned about the stain remover that I'd never even heard about before.
I know. Eye makeup remover.
Eye makeup remover.
So I told Dina that I was going to email her about a stain in my carpet, and that was her suggestion.
Yeah,
Eye makeup remover.
I love it. So when all else fails, try eye makeup remover for just about any stain, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what we hear. And for lots of great tips on the eye makeup remover and lots of other tips and tricks, our small business shout out again goes to Dina Dean with Clean with Miss Dean. Check out her blog and all of the products that she recommends.
I love it. So turning to our real estate real talk conversation, Dina and I want to focus on how we can help you with this situation.
Yeah, and sometimes, obviously using a service or tips and tricks such as Dina shares are obviously all helpful, and knowing those points to share. But in a time where you are getting ready to list your home, sometimes it's just nice to have a professional come in and help you prioritize.
Absolutely. And oftentimes when we are meeting with sellers or future sellers, we see that they have focused all of their energies and money on tasks that really won't benefit them
Yeah,
as much as they think.
that's a bummer.
So,
Always, right?
I know,
Yeah.
I know. So they're not in front of buyers every day. We are. And so they often choose less effective tasks. They're so proud of what they've done. And then we come in and we say, hey, that's good. But
Yeah, you
the big but.
kind of burst their bubble a little bit.
I know, and I
because-
always feel so bad.
Yeah, because it may not be, again, what we would focus on for those buyers. And one of those services that Chris and I offer is to come out and walk your home,
Yeah.
right? Whether you're planning to move in the next, 3 months or whether it's 3 years, right? We are happy to walk your home with you. And it's just a great benefit to have a professional walk your home to help you to prioritize those tasks.
Throughout several of our shows, we have offered you tips on how to prep your home for the market or for life. And now what we're offering you is that personal consultation. So if you're planning to move soon, we will help you what you should do first based on your time frame for moving. We might focus on surface cleaning, quick deep cleans, packing, things of that nature.
Yeah. And so, even if it's a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan, like right now I'm working with some clients, Chris, who are not planning on moving, or when they called me initially, it was probably about 1.5 years ago, and they weren't going to move until their youngest graduated from high school. So they were really on that 3-year plan. And so whether, you're staying in your home and you're just, again, and getting enjoyment and livability out of that home space, that's great, right? In those short term or that long term, and then focusing on preparing that home, it'll make that move easier when the time comes.
Absolutely.
Right?
And again, you're living in that environment along the way, so you may as well enjoy it.
You might as well enjoy it. Exactly.
So reach out to us. You can reach us via email or either one of us via telephone to schedule your meeting and make your plan for the upcoming new year.
We'd love to help. So thank you for joining us today. This has been House and Home Chat, Real Estate Real Talk with Dina and Chris, and we will see you next time.
Bye.